There we go. Hi everyone. Can we get everybody seated? The three mappers in the front row, please. If you're doing a three map, please sit in a reserved seat. So if you're doing a three map, please sit in a reserved seat. Can I ask people to come in quickly? We do want to do this on time, get people on their flights. We've got people in the overflows, I think. All right. I'll call you. If everyone could make their way in quickly, please. We're going to make this a smooth, quick transition. All right, we've just got a couple of theatres still coming through, so we'll just give everyone a few more minutes. Alrighty. Hey everyone, get everybody to grab a seat. Nicole, you're doing a three map, so there you go. Got four. We got two more contestants to come anyway, right? Hi everyone, please come in. We need to move this one. There's plenty of room in here still. Please come in. Stacks of room. Yeah, we're still waiting for two of our contestants as well. So it's all right. Oh, we're still waiting for a contestant, so we just need to make sure they get in. Jack's not in here, is he? If anybody knows where Jack Henessey is, paging Jack Henessey. There he is. There he is. Our last contestant has arrived. Close the doors. Well, I'll let these people in. Alrighty, we're going to send the rest of the people to the overflows. We've got plenty of room in there. And we do want to get started. People have got flights to catch, I know. Rescheduled flights, so including some of our contestants. So we'll get them on their flights. So thank you, everyone. This is the concluding segment of AAC 2024. I'm happy to introduce Anthea Mulakala, our good friend from the Asia Foundation, who's going to be our compere for this afternoon. Thank you, Anthea.
Okay, thank you so much, Cam, and good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the 3-Minute Aid Pitch. I am really thrilled to be moderating this session. It's very lively and it's thought-provoking, and it has always been one of my favorite sessions in the Australasian Aid Conference. We don't run it every year, but really excited and happy to have it back this year. People are still coming in. So the 3-map session is all about big ideas delivered very concisely. And we've had some great ones in the past. So when we ran this session the last time, 2 years ago, I recall that the winner had the novel idea of using AI to write donor reports to save time and improve efficiency. And this was prior to the ChatGPT explosion. So just reflecting on the last session that we just had in this room, we could probably call this foresight. So I'm very excited to see what our 2024 pitchers have to offer. So each presenter will have just 3 minutes to pitch their concept, aiming to inspire and inform us while staying within the time limit. It's a challenging task, but we have an outstanding lineup of speakers ready to take it on. So just to go over the session instructors, especially for our pitchers. Here's how it works. So each presenter has 3 minutes to deliver their pitch. We will provide a 30-second warning bell at 2 minutes 30, and then signal when your time is up. So the bell person is there, okay. Once all the pitches are complete, you, the audience, will vote for your favorite pitch via the WOVA conference app. So if you haven't downloaded the app, do it now. When you get to the home page, okay, on the home page you'll see a little icon on the bottom that says polls. You can tap on the polls and then there'll be a link to 3-map. Or you can go to the WOVA, into the conference site, to the 3-map session, and there's a polls tab on there, okay? Maybe everyone just give it a try, but don't vote yet, please. Just have a look. Okay. Then, please don't vote till the end, okay? And anyone can vote, even you're out in the corridor, if you're in the other room, you can also vote. Then after the voting is completed, Mira from the Development Intelligence Lab, which is our proud sponsor, thank you so much, Lab, for this event, will present the trophy to the winner. And we have a very nice trophy. So that's all the details. So let's get to our first speaker. So our first presenter is Nicol Herbert, and Nicol is the Deputy Head of the Asia Pacific for Development Pathways, where she is the team leader for a DFAT program, Social Protection Advice, Research and Capability Building. Previously, she led the design of a large-scale cash and livelihoods program with IRC, WFP, and UNRWA in South Asia, MENA, and East Africa. And Nicol will present on making sense, reforming how the aid sector delivers cash. Please welcome Nicol.
So forward.
Yep. Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so in 2016, the aid sector made major commitments to increase the use of cash assistance in the Grand Bargain and then adopted at the World Humanitarian Summit. So that's not unusual for our sector. We love to make big, lofty commitments. What is unusual is we actually delivered on this one. So in 2022, cash programming had grown to $10 billion US. That was up from $2 billion in 2016. I'll argue, though, that despite this increase, we're failing to realise the potential of cash, and I'm going to offer 3 concrete shifts to turn this around. First, though, why should you care about scaling cash? Well, it maximises beneficiary choice and dignity, it's fast and flexible, and it can be more cost effective. It also has a multiplier effect because cash
benefits the local markets where it's spent. Most importantly, though, it's what the people want. So this is common sense if you put yourself in the shoes of beneficiaries, but the evidence is now catching up. So, for example, 89% of UNHCR beneficiaries globally prefer cash. Despite this widespread adoption, though, many of the choices made by us, implementers and donors, are undermining these benefits. So my pitch is that we can turn this around by making 3 fundamental changes that cost nothing. 1, stop tying cash to outcomes. Cash is fungible. Functionally, all cash is multi-purpose cash. So sector or outcome specific cash is counterintuitive. The flexibility to respond to changing needs and unique needs is a strength of cash. But because we work in sectors, we expect that cash does too. So we need to change our approach to how outcomes are measured for cash programs and instead focus on multi-sectoral indicators. In particular, monitoring beneficiaries' own perceptions of how their needs have been met. 2, stop making cash conditional. The evidence is clear. Unconditional cash is effective, and yet the sector continues to impose onerous conditions on beneficiaries. It's undignified, but it's also ineffective because it adds additional costs to both beneficiaries and to implementers. So we need to rely more on behavioural nudges and labelling, which have been shown to be just as effective as hard conditionalities. 3, stop being disproportionately risk averse. Cash is no more risky than other types of transfers. We just have a lower risk tolerance. So what this all boils down to is we need more trust in and respect for beneficiaries of cash. Trust that they know their needs better than we do, and respect for their preferences.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Nicole, for starting us off on time and with such an insightful pitch. So our second presenter is Jack Henessey. And Jack is a senior health economist at the Fred Hollows Foundation and a PhD candidate at Monash University Center for Health Economics. Jack has led health economics research and design for projects across Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, and the Pacific. His expertise lies in conducting health economic analysis and providing technical advice for Australia's largest health programs. Today, Jack will discuss using beneficiary surveys to improve aid effectiveness. Let's welcome Jack.
Okay, thanks. All right, hi everyone. My name's Jack, and I'm going to spend the next 3 minutes convincing you why it's beneficiaries' opinions that matter most and not necessarily donors ourselves. I'm going to do this by revisiting some famous songs that you might have heard of. So the Beatles, they said, all you need is love. What I think they really meant was all you need is aid effectiveness. And this is true because it's at the forefront of all our minds. In fact, in the latest DFAT policy, the word effective is mentioned no less than 50 times. So the Rolling Stones, they sung, I can't get no satisfaction. What I think they meant was I can't get no alignment of donor and recipient preferences. And it's true, as donors, we inherently understand our preferences. In fact, we have lots of policies to guide these preferences. But aren't we missing a huge piece of the puzzle? What about the beneficiaries in the countries that are actually receiving this aid? So Nirvana, they had a song, Smells Like Teen Spirit, and you're probably thinking, this smells a little like locally led development. And it's true, locally led development is a fantastic mechanism to keep the beneficiaries' interests at heart. But isn't it also the case that there's some local elites, local governments that may not necessarily hold their citizens' interests best at heart? And that's all too common in some of the fragile states that we work. So stinging the police, they said, every breath you take. What I think they meant was every beneficiary survey we implement. So I want to be clear, my idea here is that what I'm suggesting is implementing large-scale representative surveys of beneficiaries or potential beneficiaries of aid programs to understand the who, the what, and the how we should implement these programs in their specific contexts. So finally, it was ABBA who sung Gimme, 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 A Man After Midnight. Give me alignment to true recipient preferences and more effective aid. And it's only when Australian aid programs are more aligned to what beneficiaries themselves want and what beneficiaries themselves have said will improve the quality of life in their own cultural and specific contexts that will unlock the secret to more effective aid. Thank you.
That was a very compelling way to remember aid jargon through 60s and 70s greatest hits. Thank you, Jack. Our third presenter is Dr. Stephen Kidd, and who is a principal social protection specialist at Development Pathways based in the UK, and who has worked across the Asia-Pacific region on social security for the past 20 years. Stephen.
Right. The pathway to successfully tackling poverty and inequality in the Asia-Pacific region is no secret. All we need to do is look back in history. So following the Second World War, today's rich countries were poorer than many countries in the Asia-Pacific region are currently, while facing significant social and economic challenges. So what did they do? In the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, they agreed the right of everyone in society to access social security, outlining how social security systems should be designed to address the risks we face across the life cycle, or in the words of Beveridge, from cradle to the grave. Over time, many countries built systems offering all citizens basic old age, child, disability, unemployment, maternity benefits, alongside other life cycle schemes. Today, the average level of spending on social security in rich countries is 12% of GDP. Societies were transformed. On average, across rich countries, poverty is 60% lower due to social security, while it has also been a core component of their economic success. Importantly, strong social contracts were built between citizens and the state. I, like others in the room, am a product of the child benefits that my parents received when I was young, and in just over a year, I look forward to receiving my state pension, which I fully deserve as a taxpayer. The question is, having experienced this unprecedented success, why do rich countries not promote universal social security and international development? Many social security systems in the Asia-Pacific region remain poorly funded and underdeveloped. And when donors do promote social security, more often than not, they propose the type of handouts to the poor that were prevalent in today's rich countries prior to the Second World War, thereby hindering the development of low and middle-income countries. The reality is that universal social security is affordable. All countries in the Asia-Pacific region could, over a period of 10 years, gradually build systems offering a basic level of income security to all children, persons with disabilities, older people, and new mothers for less than 2% of GDP. Some countries are already investing in universal social security, often against the advice of donors. In the Asia-Pacific region, there are around 60 universal social security schemes. And the impacts have been impressive, transforming people's lives and strengthening economies. Mongolia stands out. Its system of universal old age, child, disability, and maternity benefits has reduced poverty by around 60%. In other Asia-Pacific countries, if other Asia-Pacific countries were to introduce comprehensive universal social security systems, they would reap the rewards. For example, India's poverty rate could be reduced by 70% with investment of just 2% of GDP. So in conclusion, we know universal social security is affordable. We know it's popular with citizens, and we know from our own experience that it's effective. So why is universal social security not at the very heart of our international development discourse?
Thank you, Stephen. That was an inspiring vision for social protection systems. Excellent. Fourth, we have Natasha Turia. And Natasha is a PhD candidate at the Department of Pacific Affairs here at ANU. Her research on labor mobility is rooted in her deep ties to Papua New Guinea and a lived experience that bridges PNG and Australia. She brings a personal and academic perspective informed by her journey kayaking through PEV waters and navigating diverse cultural terrains with her family. Natasha will present on 2025, the perfect time for an Australia-PNG Engagement Visa. Please welcome Natasha.
All right. Now, I know this is an aid conference where we've had serious conversations about what aid is, how it should look like, and what the extent of its impact is on its recipients. And to me, aid is and should always serve a complementary function in empowering an individual, community, and country to achieve full agency to the point where aid is no longer required. And it is at that point where we can truly celebrate aid effectiveness. It's a no-brainer. Yet all too often, we think that the byproducts of increased aid is improved socioeconomic development indicators. So we hype on about $600 million worth of aid funding over 10 years just to support a bid for a Papua New Guinean team in the Australian National Rugby League. Now, as a Papua New Guinean, reflecting on PNG and Australia's unique and enduring relationship from both an insider and outsider perspective, what if, and this is a big if, both countries could do one thing better with, wait for it, no aid required, or heaven forbid, maintain reduced aid? Crazy, unconventional, radical? Maybe. But an exclusive permanent residency visa from Australia to PNG citizens who opt to self-sponsor, delivered through a similar Pacific Engagement Visa ballot format, is a perfect example of where both countries can do one thing better, leveling up where aid is reduced. And if there was ever a time to go full throttle, beyond the rhetoric of aid, and in recognition of PNG reaching 50 years of independence as a sovereign state next year, how fitting, after 50 years of aid, would it be for PNG's former colonial administrators, Australia, to establish that exclusive permanent residency visa that we can call for now the PNG Engagement Visa. It would be separate from the Pacific Engagement Visa and operate like New Zealand's capped permanent residency visa that is exclusive to citizens from its own former colonial territory, Samoa. The PNG Engagement Visa would be the new building blocks to supercharge the two countries' people-to-people links, and it requires less aid. Crazy, unconventional, radical, yes. But it's the right thing to do now, and Australia needs to be braver and change gears come 16th of September 2025 by establishing a PNG Engagement Visa. It's a no-brainer.
Thank you for your crazy and radical pitch. That was great. Our fifth presenter is Martina Zapf, who's General Manager at the Development Intelligence Lab. Martina's pitch is titled Organizational Culture, the Missing Piece in the Locally Led Development Puzzle. Please welcome Martina.
All right, so 12 years ago, I worked in a rural development project in Eastern Chad, and we had a challenge. We were building local infrastructure, dams like this, warehouses to store produce, and it fell into disrepair. So here I was, I had a few years of experience under my belt. I was steeped in all the latest concepts of local ownership at the time, and I thought to myself, I know how to fix this. So what do? I sit down and I write a guideline. 20 pages and in French. And then I told the local community mobilizers on the team, you just have to run more participatory processes. Let the people determine what infrastructure they want. So I had this beautiful vision in my mind of people sitting under a beautiful tree, hashing it out, figuring out what they want, coming up with their own ideas and their own solutions. A few weeks later, I traveled to some of the project sites, and guess what? No one was sitting under the mythical tree. What do I find instead? I find our community mobilizers in classrooms lecturing the communities on what to do. And I thought to myself, where did things go so horribly wrong? Did they not read my guideline about a participatory process? Fast forward, here I am 12 years later, and I work for one of the premier development think tanks in Australia. And I noticed that the locally led development buzzword is everywhere. And of course, we have learned a lot, and we've given a lot of thought how to really advance this. But I think there's still a big piece of the puzzle that is missing in the debate. And it's what I learned about in Chad all those years ago. How are we expecting people to share power, to work horizontally, externally with partners outside our organizations when we don't do that inside our own organizations? In Chad, I told those community mobilizers what to do, and then I expected them not to tell communities what to do. I expected them to engage and surface ideas when I didn't do that myself. So how do we fix it? The solution is moving from hierarchical leadership models to more horizontal ones and to change organizational cultures. Taking small steps would look like really listening to staff at all levels in our organizations and acting on their ideas and suggestions. If we don't practice good listening inside our organizations, how are we expect it to happen outside? Taking a medium step would look like changing our performance systems to assess and support how staff engage internally and externally based on principles of collaboration and power with. And if you're up for bigger steps, you would wholesale reinvent your organizational strategy process and run it bottom up. Now, people will say to me, Martina, you're a crazy dreamer, take off your Birkenstocks, this is never gonna work. And I'd say to them, first, a lot of organizations are actually already moving in this direction and trying some of these practices, and they're seeing it pay off in so many ways. Two, we don't have a choice. If we don't take a hard look inside our own organizations, we are never going to solve the locally led development puzzle. Thank you.
Well, by the positive response, I'd say you should definitely keep your working socks on. So our final presenter is Dr. Ujjwal Krishna, a research specialist in governance at the Asia Foundation and a research fellow at the University of Melbourne's Australia-India Institute. Ujjwal's PhD explored the political economy of research uptake in Australian aid policy based on 3.5 years of embedded research with the DFAT-funded Developmental Leadership Program. His work challenges traditional approaches to policy making by examining who we listen to and what we believe. Ujjwal's topic is informing the official mind, rethinking who to listen to and what to believe. Please welcome Ujjwal.
Thank you. Okay. At the height of the global financial crisis, the Queen asked academics at the LSE, why did nobody notice the awful financial crisis earlier? A few years later, as she toured the Bank of England's gold vault, Sujit Kapadia, its top financial policy expert, answered that question. He explained that as the global economy boomed in the pre-crisis years, the city had gotten complacent, and many thought regulation wasn't necessary. The Queen observed, people got a bit lax. Perhaps it is difficult to foresee a crisis. Failure can be difficult to predict if, as the Chilcot inquiry on the Iraq War found, there is groupthink in government. That is, when officials conform in their thinking to the extent that their decision-making has an irrational or dysfunctional outcome, reflecting insufficient challenge and a lack of diversity of thought. And if decision-making structures have impeded and poorly absorbed information and evidence. Policy processes are nonlinear and highly iterative, and evidence used in policy is contestable rather than objective. UNDP's report on the politics of inequality finds that some factors may intervene to block the supply of redistributive policy despite a demand for inequality reduction. We also know that there are inequalities baked into the kinds of evidence and expertise that are valued. There are clear gains for government to break such monopolies, but there is a great deal of gatekeeping, disciplinary hierarchies, and looking up to Western thought leaders while ignoring or paying lip service to local non-Western knowledge. So what do the global financial crisis, the Iraq war, and unresponsiveness to the unequal distribution of income and wealth tell us? They tell us that in order to get to grips with complex, non-linear, and unpredictable issues, aid organizations require overcoming groupthink, recognizing that evidence is contestable and will be used politically by both supporters and detractors of aid, understanding that the decisions made by aid policymakers shape and are shaped by broader narratives, and looking beyond influential Western voices and knowledge hierarchies which tend to dominate the development ecosystem. The dangers of groupthink are avoidable, and for the official mind, managing uncertainty requires engaging with the diversity of thought, breaking through disciplinary hierarchies, and amplifying local knowledge over already loud Western expertise. Thank you.
Thanks, Ujjwal, for that provocative closing pitch. Okay, so it's now time for you. Turning it over to you, to the audience, to participate in the room and outside the room. Please open your WOVA app. Problem? Oh, yes, sorry, I forgot to tell you. So Martina has opted out because she is part of the Development Intelligence Lab, who's the sponsor for this event. But I think we loved her pitch, so we can thank her very much with applause. Yeah. So more chance for the rest. Okay. So you have 5 people to choose from. Please cast your vote for the pitch that resonated most with you, impressed you the most, made you feel good, whatever drives you today. And voting will remain open for 5 minutes, so please don't delay. Not even timing it. 1 more minute. I'm joined by Mira from the Development Intelligence Lab, and she's going to present the trophy to the winner. We'll give it 30 more seconds. Are people still voting? No.
All right, we have a result. Very exciting. I mean, I just first of all want to say, if you've seen any of the plethora panels that the lab's been on throughout this conference, you know that we love policy cut through and we love really, really creative ideas, and 3MAP is absolutely that. So it's a pleasure to sponsor, and just well done again. I can see from the results it was very, very close. So maybe another round of applause for all of our pitches. But the moment we've all been waiting for, the winner is Natasha Turia. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you all. Those were amazing pitches, and you can see how you can add creativity, humor, and depth in 3 minutes or less. So really well done, and congratulations to Natasha. So that wraps up the 3MAP session for Australasian Aid Conference 2024. I hope we will see this session again in 2025. We have trouble getting people to sign up for it because it's nerve-wracking, right? But I think really worth it for all of us. So please think about it. Next year, when we pitch it, please do sign up and come with your crazy creative ideas. So I'm going to turn it now over to Anthea. Please come up here to help us wrap for the year.
Hi everyone, my name's Amita Monterola. I'm the communications coordinator here, and it's not time to say goodbye because the Development Policy Centre puts out a blog every single weekday, so you can also always catch us. We also put out a podcast now every fortnight, and we've just put one out with Masood Ahmed. So please share that around with your contacts. And I now have the delightful duty of presenting a video to celebrate the 10 years of the conference. And I feel immensely unqualified because this is actually the first time I've been to the AID conference in person. So everyone else here is probably much more experienced than me. I've helped DFAT colleagues prepare for it. I worked remotely last year, so I was very happy to get together with the DevPol staff and also the Asia Foundation staff to put this video together. So I hope you enjoy looking back.
Actually, the first one we called a workshop, so it was the Australasian Aid workshop, and it was intended to be a small kind of roundtable discussion. People would present their papers, listen to the papers of other colleagues, and give each other comments. But even the first one was bigger than we expected, and it's certainly grown a lot since then. And I guess, without really intending to be honest, we have filled a gap, which we hadn't, really realised was there. And that was just somewhere where everyone can come together, not just NGOs or the consultants or contractors or the government or the academics, but actually a forum for everyone to come together, both from the aid sending countries, particularly Australia, but also from the big recipient countries in Asia and the Pacific. Yeah, so I think this workshop/conference, has really done a good job in filling that gap, in providing a forum which everyone can come together, and I think more than anything else, that's been the secret of its success.
It grew every single year from then on that I was involved. And I think that just is a testament to the appetite that people have to come together and discuss these really big issues around aid. Looking back to those years, I know there were a lot of conversations around climate change, around the changing size and shape of the Australian aid budget, Australia's place in the region. So, it was just a forum where people really wanted to dive into those issues. even though the conference is situated within a university, it's not a purely academic conference. There's a lot of practitioners, there's the private sector, there's NGOs, there's government, DFAT representatives of course, but we do also get to really engage with participants from across Southeast Asia, in particular due to that partnership with the Asia Foundation, including many high-level officials from countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, Cambodia. It's quite amazing sometimes when you sit down at the conference dinner who'll end up on your table. You never know who you'll get to have a conversation with.
The conference didn't run in 2021 due to COVID, but we started it up again in 2022, and that's when we made the switch from holding the conference at the start of the year to holding it at the end of the year.
It's hard to believe we're celebrating 10 years of the Australasian Aid Conference. We started this journey back in 2014 with the ANU's Development Policy Centre, and what began as a small gathering has now grown into a must-attend event for everyone in the development space across Australia, the Pacific, and Asia. As the conference has evolved, so have the conversations around development. We're now exploring topics that are reshaping our world, like AI's impact on development, climate resilience, and innovative approaches to South-South cooperation. Technology is transforming everything, from how we track data to how we respond to crises, and we're also adapting our partnerships to meet these dynamic challenges. The way we think about aid and collaboration has shifted, and it's crucial that we continue growing these conversations together. That's what makes this conference so special. Each year, we bring together a diverse mix of perspectives, keeping us ahead of emerging trends and challenges. For the Asia Foundation, it's also a unique opportunity to elevate Asian voices, adding invaluable regional insights to the global development conversation. This conference creates a space for everyone, from policymakers to students, to rethink approaches, gain fresh perspectives, and leave inspired to make an impact.
I think we've got the conference, to a good size. We've got a great conference organising team. I think the challenge going forward is to keep it relevant. Lots of things are changing. When we started the conference, the whole issue of strategic competition with China was much more muted. Locally led development, something people are talking a lot more about now. Of course, climate change. So as these issues change, we have to make sure that we remain relevant.
As we move forward, these evolving conversations are essential. Development challenges are only getting more complex, and the best solutions come when we're learning, innovating, and working together. To everyone who's been part of this journey, thank you for helping make this conference what it is today. Here's to many more years of impactful collaboration and meaningful change.
Rightio, how'd we go? So that brings the Australasian Aid Conference 2024 to a close. Thank you all once again for making this conference what it is and for coming year after year. Please complete the survey. You have a survey in the app, and we really would like to hear your feedback on how to make the conference better. As Stephen said, we need to keep it relevant, and in order to keep it relevant, we need your ideas. I'd like to thank, again, the Asia Foundation, our major partner for this conference. I'd like to thank Tom, Mark, Anthea, and their teams for all the great collaboration, not just this year, but in previous years. I'd just like to thank again all of our sponsors, ABC International, ACR, Cadmus, Development Pathways, the Centre for Humanitarian Leadership, DT Global, SMEC, StoneX, and also the Development Intelligence Lab for helping us run what was a great 3MAP again this year. I'd also like to thank the teams that support us to deliver the conference. So our wonderful AV team from Elite, thank you very much. Our caterers, Halberg, again, just keep delivering for us. So thank you, Halberg, once again. Our wonderful photographer, Alex, and her colleagues who've been running around the rooms taking some of these great photos that you saw in that video today. So there'll be more coming out from this week soon. So thank you. And finally, those incredible Auslan interpreters from Deaf Connect who were able to keep pace through some pretty complex content. That was fantastic. I'd also like to thank all of the people who turned out to be panelists, presenters, and chairs. Sometimes we call on a few favours to get the chairs in particular, so thank you all for helping us do that this year and for delivering such a great program. Just finally, I'd like to thank my team, or the team, who helped deliver the conference this year. It's a big effort, and it takes place over a number of weeks and months. I'd like to thank firstly the team in the centre who helped kind of all the preparation for the conference, and there was a fair bit of it. So I'd like to thank Aloha, Estelle, and Amita in particular for helping deliver on the preparation for the conference. And then I want to thank all the wonderful staff, both centre staff and casual staff, who helped us deliver over the last few days. It was incredibly well delivered. So that's Finn, Rabayat, Alyssa, Sharon, Shanice, Vanessa, Anna, Michael, David, Bia, Iggy, Gio, and Roxy. Thank you so much. Thank you, team. Great job. And yeah, we'll see you next year. Thank you. Cheers.